Bringing you live visuals now. NASA's Artemis II capsule and its 4-member crew streaked through Earth's atmosphere and safely splashed down in the Pacific Ocean off the Southern California coast. Those visuals coming in live from the coast of San Diego. This mission, after 10 days in space, capping the first voyage by humans to the vicinity of the moon in over half a century. Those visuals are coming in live from San Diego. These are a few moments after the splashdown of the Orion capsule. The Artemis II flight traveling a total of 694,000 miles, over 694,000 miles across 2 Earth orbits and a climactic lunar flyby some 252,000 miles away was the debut crewed test flight in a series of Artemis missions that aim to start landing astronauts on the lunar surface starting in 2028.
We are expecting the other crew members momentarily to be extracted.
Those visuals coming in live from San Diego coast, where the Orion capsule made a splashdown just a short while ago.
We now have 2 crew members out.
Those visuals coming in live from San Diego coast. What you are looking at on your screens is the Orion capsule, part of the Artemis II mission that made a splashdown just a short while ago. The next big step would be the safe evacuation of the 4 crew members inside of this capsule. The Artemis II mission was the first crewed flight of NASA's Artemis program, successfully completing a 10-day journey that carried 4 astronauts around the moon and safely back to Earth.
Integrity's systems functioned perfectly during its entry back to Earth. And Reed Wiseman, the commander who will be last out of the vehicle, reported that all the crew members were feeling very well.
Viewers who've just joined us, those are the visuals, historic visuals of the return of the Artemis II crew back to Earth. Those visuals coming in live from San Diego coast, United States. Just a short while ago in the Pacific Ocean, the Orion capsule made a safe splashdown. As per the reports, the astronauts are safe inside the capsule and one is awaiting the evacuation. In fact, in the visuals of the astronauts, the crew members now stepping out. Artemis II crew, NASA Commander Reed Wiseman, NASA pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch of NASA, and Jeremy Hansen of CSA, that's Canadian Space Agency. So 3 members from the American Space Agency and 1 member from Canada. 4-member crew. Artemis II mission was the first crewed flight of NASA's Artemis program, successfully completing a 10-day journey that carried 4 astronauts around the moon and safely back to Earth. These are those moments when the astronauts step out of that capsule that made a splashdown a short while ago in the Pacific Ocean. These are visuals coming in live from the coast of San Diego. Launched on 1st April this year, it marked the first time humans traveled to the vicinity of the moon in over 50 years. And those are visuals of the astronauts, the crew members of Artemis II crew stepping out. They appear to be in good health. historic visuals of the Orion capsule making a splashdown, and in those visuals you can see the astronauts. It's a long shot, but you can make out those astronauts stepping out, 4 of them in bright orange suit. The space suit, the capsule, Orion capsule, made a splashdown just a short while ago. The mission was launched 1st of April, marked the first time that humans traveled in the vicinity of the moon. And those are visuals of the NASA Center, Mission Center, closely monitoring the conclusion of the Artemis II mission, the safe splashdown. And we can in the visual see in orange suits in the boat, all the 4 astronauts have been evacuated. They appear to be in good health. Artemis II mission concludes with the return of the astronauts nearly 10 days after nearly 10 days in space. Now, re-entry is always one of the riskiest parts of space flight, but that was particularly true for Artemis II because, as per the reports, Orion heat shield, the critical layer that protects the astronauts and the capsule from extreme temperatures, had known design flaws. And those are closer shots now of the 4 astronauts, the crew members, safely evacuated in the boat from the Orion capsule. A historic moment here. First crewed flight of NASA's Artemis program, successfully completing over 10 days journey that carried 4 astronauts. Those 4 astronauts you can see on your screens. After completing the space journey around the moon, these astronauts have safely evacuated. You also see some movement. They appear to be in good health. They're also members of the evacuation rescue team of NASA. Those visuals coming in live from the coast of San Diego, United States. Historic moment. Artemis II mission concludes with the safe return of the 4 crew members, the Artemis II crew. Artemis II crew members, NASA Commander Reid Wiseman, NASA pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch of NASA. These are 3 members from NASA of the United States, and Jeremy Hansen of Canadian Space Agency. 4 crew members, 3 from the United States, 1 from Canada. So we're talking about the re-entry, which is always one of the riskiest parts of spaceflight. This is particularly true for the Artemis II mission. The Orion's heat shield, the capsule that you see in the center of your screen, the critical layer, the heat shield that protects the astronauts from extreme temperatures, had known design flaws. To reduce the risk for the astronauts, NASA had planned a modified path for the capsule's re-entry. Orion descended faster and at a steeper angle to minimize the time it was exposed to the extreme heat while entering the Earth's atmosphere. And those historic visuals coming in live from the coast of San Diego. The crew members of Artemis II from Orion capsule have been safely evacuated. You can see them in wearing bright orange suit in one of the boats used to rescue the crew members. Now, to reduce the risk for the astronauts making a re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, NASA had planned a modified path for the capsule's re-entry. Orion descended faster at a steeper angle to minimize the time it was exposed to extreme heat. During the 10-day Artemis II mission, the crew became the first humans to travel towards the moon and make a flyby in more than half a century, more than 50 years. They set a new record for the farthest distance ever traveled from Earth.
Flight of Orion with crew members on board. Splashdown occurring an hour and 32 minutes ago after a flawless descent back into the Earth's atmosphere for the vehicle. Its 4 crew members in good shape, simply enjoying their time right now on the front porch, as it were, the inflatable raft alongside of their Integrity spacecraft. We're expecting Ahmed Shatria, the NASA Associate Administrator, to join us here momentarily for a brief interview before we turn it back over to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Murtha, the recovery ship.
Those are visuals coming in live from the coast of San Diego in the United States. Historic moment for NASA's Artemis II mission. The crew made a splashdown about half an hour ago, and those visuals are coming in live of the crew members evacuated in a raft from the Integrity spacecraft, part of the Artemis II mission. The astronauts, the crew members can be seen. It's a long shot though, but they are in the raft wearing bright orange suits. They will be now taken to the recovery ship in a short while from now. As per the reports, all the 4 astronauts appear to be in good shape, in good health. It was a tricky return for the Artemis mission. There were some risks involved as far as the Orion capsule's heat shield is concerned. So NASA had planned a modified path for the capsule. It descended faster at a steeper angle to minimize the time it was exposed to the extreme heat. And you have choppers monitoring the entire rescue and evacuation. Artemis II mission, the first crewed flight of NASA's Artemis program, successfully completing over 10 days journey that carried 4 astronauts around the moon and safely back to Earth. And these are those moments of those astronauts, the great sigh of relief, safely stepping out from the capsule into the rescue raft. This raft will now be taken to the Integrity, to the recovery ship, beg your pardon.
Splashdown of Integrity in the Pacific to bring home our astronauts. And with us now is Amit Kshatriya, the NASA Associate Administrator. Amit, a little bit of history made tonight, a little bit of history made over the past few weeks. Your thoughts as this team here basks in the glow of what they just accomplished?
Yeah, Rob, we're here in the control center, and it's kind of overrun with jubilant.
And U.S. President Donald Trump has also posted this congratulatory message on, he says, congratulations to the great and very talented crew of Artemis II. The entire trip was spectacular. The landing was perfect.
These teams, the team that's in the water right now, pulling the crew out, the team here in Houston that worked so hard over the last 10 days, no sleep to get this done. You know, we still have some work to do to get the crew to the med bay here on the ship. They all look great coming out, so we're hopefully that won't be too long. You know, I think we saw the administrator on the boat too, giving his thanks to the Navy team on the Mirtha, which they're just an incredible group of sailors. I was able to visit with them a couple weeks ago, and then if you pull it all the way back to the workers and the folks that joined the rocket at Michoud, that made the heat shield tiles that held together tonight, that that stacked the vehicle in Florida, that integrated the vehicle in Denver, that fired the engines in Stennis, that fired the boosters in Promontory. I mean, this is the entire team, coming together and being tested by the environment that this machine went through, and they did it right. The work was good. They did it right.
You've said in a number of briefings, of course, and in other forums that this is just the first step. The cadence has to step up, as the administrator has indicated. Now, it's a little early for the full report card on how Integrity did, but did this mission ultimately, from your eyes view, exceed expectations?
It absolutely did. I mean, I was waiting to talk about this until we were in the water, and I think we still have, again, work to do to bring it in and really kind of go through it bolt by bolt and see what we learned. But I mean, so far, given what we learned during the mission and given how we performed on ascent, on entry, I always think about energy in terms of the states that you worry about the most, and every time we put these machines through these incredibly energetic states.
And there, the congratulatory message from U.S. President Donald Trump. He says, congratulations to the great and very talented crew of Artemis II. The entire trip was spectacular. The landing was perfect. And as President of the United States, I could not be more proud. I look forward to seeing you all at the White House soon. We'll be doing it again. And then next step, Mars, says President Donald J. Trump of the United States.